What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dillon again. Today's day 7 of training camp. Got a lot to go over, so I'm going to go ahead and just get straight into it. First article I have here is from Dolphins Wire. Dolphins defensive tackle Vincent Taylor is showing a lot of improvement. The Dolphins did not select a defensive tackle during this year's draft, despite the fact they released former Pro Bowl defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh during the offseason. The reason? The Dolphins were confident in the young players they had at the position, including second-year player Vincent Taylor. During the first week of training camp, Taylor has shown a ton of improvement from his rookie year, as he has been seen in the backfield more than a few times, including on Wednesday. Dolphins head coach Adam Gase has also noticed the strides Taylor has made. A lot of these guys that are in their second year, they take that step up, Gase said. They know what they're doing already. To me, it looks like he's able to play faster, he's able to attack more. Seeing him pursue the ball, he is really taking in how Chris Kocurek coaches. He's one of those guys that just loves what he does. He loves being out there, and you love the effort that he gives day in and day out. He's making plays, he's getting in the backfield, he's disrupting the run game. He's just trying to find a way to get a little better every day. That's all you're really asking from your guys. Last season, Taylor played in 13 games, mostly as a rotational player, as he recorded 18 tackles. He also blocked 2 field goal attempts on special teams, including one against Ravens kicker Justin Tucker. Now that Suh is no longer on the Dolphins roster, the team will rotate more players at the defensive tackle position. That should give Taylor more of an opportunity to improve his numbers from a season ago. I hope so. We definitely need our young players, to start stepping up. So from Bleacher Report, every team's most intriguing developmental player. And they have for us linebacker Quentin Poling. It's easy to see why Quentin Poling wasn't selected until the final round of the 2018 NFL Draft. He's a short linebacker from a smaller school, but there are also a couple of reasons the 6'1" Ohio University alum's new home in Miami is cause for optimism. For starters, there's Poling's athletic potential. He might not have been invited to Indianapolis, but as Lance Zierlein reported for NFL.com, his testing numbers dropped jaws regardless of venue. Poling posted elite athletic testing numbers on par with the best linebacker testing at the Combine, Zierlein wrote. He ran a 4.58 40 with a 38-inch vertical leap and a 10'7" broad jump. There's also the battle of an unsettled linebacker core in Miami. Raekwon McMillan is coming off a serious knee injury. Jerome Baker's a rookie himself, and Kiko Alonso as well. If Poling can put the athletic skill together with the instincts he showed in Athens, Miami's linebackers might be stronger than first thought. Man, people love to hate on Kiko. It's crazy. Anyway, we'll see how he does. Hopefully he can develop into something good for us. This one is from Omar Kelly and the Sun Sentinel. Dolphins D-end William Hayes suffers leg injury during practice. Hopefully it's not serious. Let's see. Miami Dolphins defensive end William Hayes suffered what appears to be a right leg or ankle injury during one-on-one drills in Thursday's practice. Hayes, an 11-year veteran who the Dolphins use as a run-stopping specialist, limped gingerly off the field while being accompanied by a trainer. If Hayes' injury keeps him from practicing for a few days, he'd become the 4th Dolphins player sidelined by an injury they suffered during training camp. Tight end A.J. Derby, who is competing for a starting spot, hasn't practiced all week because of a foot injury. Receiver Isaiah Ford has been sidelined the past 2 days because of a shoulder injury, and Jake Brendel, the Dolphins' backup center, has missed all but 2 practices because of a calf injury. Hayes' absence will likely provide more practice snaps for some of the younger defensive ends like Charles Harris and Cameron Malveaux and Jonathan Woodard. Yeah, well, we'll see. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully he can get over that pretty quick and get back up into the rotation. Or at least, it's okay to be precautious for sure. Got a little something there on my forehead. It's okay to be precautious for sure with him right now, especially. We're just barely going to get into the preseason, so, let's try not to hurt anybody more. But, we'll see what happens. Hopefully he's going to be all right, and it won't be anything to worry about. All right, another one from Dolphins Wire. Dolphins giving linebacker Chase Allen an opportunity to start. For the second consecutive day, Chase Allen was out there with Raekwon McMillan and Kiko Alonso on the Dolphins' first-team defense. The Dolphins have a vacant starting spot at outside linebacker, and Allen is competing with Stephon Anthony and Jerome Baker for that position. After Thursday's practice, Dolphins linebacker coach Frank Bush said Allen has definitely proven he should get an opportunity to start. Chase came in last year and proved to us that he's worthy of giving a look, Bush said. He played some spot duty for us last year outside as well as inside. He's done a good job in the offseason of preparing himself. We just want to keep the competition going. We don't want anybody to get comfortable, so we're putting him back outside to make sure he and Stephon Anthony have real competition out there, but meanwhile making sure that he's getting enough reps inside. As an undrafted free agent last season, Allen played in all 16 games as he started 4 of them. He recorded 40 tackles and a forced fumble. Allen was also a factor on special teams as he played during kickoff and punt coverage. In his short time with the Dolphins, Allen has shown he is an intelligent player that can play both as an inside linebacker as well as on the outside. With the lack of depth at the linebacker position, Allen's reliable play gave the Dolphins a boost last year and should do the same in 2018. I just think we're going to have a ton of surprises throughout the, according to most people anyway, throughout the entire roster. I mean, I think our linebacking core is going to be far better than what people realize. Our fucking D-line is going to be far better than what people realize. I mean, I think our secondary is just going to be elite. So, I don't know, man. I mean, we'll see. We shall see. But I think, I don't know. Maybe it's just a little bit of my bias. Maybe, I'm just fucking really, 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 really hoping that that's the case. I don't know, but whatever. Anyway, getting into a little more. So, Palm Beach Post update on practice report, an updated practice report from them. Give me a second. It's taking a minute to load. Okay, here we go. The Miami Dolphins training camp continued with a Thursday practice at Nova Southeastern. Here are some things. Marquise Gray, A.J. Derby, and Jake Brendel are not spotted at the start of practice. Isaiah Ford is working on the side on a bike today. About 13 minutes into practice, a heavy downfall of rain. This is good for the quarterbacks to get some wet ball work in. And about 5 minutes later, the sun is back out. So much for that. Yeah, well, welcome to South Florida. Leonte Carew made a spectacular one-handed catch. Kenyon Drake, Danny Amendola, Jakeem Grant continue to work on punt returns. Chase Allen and Torrey McTyer worked first-team linebacker and cornerback. Kenyon Drake absolutely exploded through the middle of the defense for a big gain. Ted Larson got some first-team reps at left guard. Devontae Parker made a short high-point catch from Ryan Tannehill. Jakeem Grant dropped a short pass from David Fales. He was uncovered. Sam Young continues to get reps for Juwan James with a muscle strain. Terrence Garvin dropped a running back into the backfield. He's made a few plays. Key reserve linebacker and special teams ace Jordan Phillips pounds his chest after destroying a running back after an explosive burst through the line. Bryce Petty hit Kalen Ballage on a touchdown pass in 11-on-11. William Hayes went to the locker room with an apparent lower body injury. Ryan Tannehill was intercepted twice by Xavien Howard today. Alright, let's see. Xavien Howard picked off Ryan Tannehill during 11-on-11s. We can debate if he has 2 interceptions today, but he definitely has 1. That was from Omar Kelly. Chris Perkins, 11-on-11, 1 versus 1's offense at own 1-yard line. Kiko just had big hit on running back after short gain. Now pass rushes forces T. Hill to throw it away. Chris Perkins, I think cornerback Tavez Calhoun was getting second-team reps there along with cornerback Tony Lippett. Haven't noticed Tankersley today. We'll look for him. Chris Perkins, more McCain at cornerback, now opposite right cornerback Lippett with second-team defense. Cornerbacks now Calhoun and Cornell Armstrong. Not sure if we've seen Tank out there with 1s or 2s. We'll check. Chris Perkins, 11-on-11, 1 versus offense at own 45. DN Charles Harris inside at D tackle alongside Spence. Defensive ends Quinn and Spence. Interesting. Armando Salguero, folks, Xavien Howard has been the most impressive player in this camp. Far as I'm concerned, he's been nothing short of great. Chris Perkins, Tunsil has done a nice job versus Quinn today, no sacks. Chris Perkins, Tannehill, interception by Xavien, his 3rd today. Tannehill better start throwing to the other side, sheesh. I mean, that's really good stuff. See, our offense has been getting beat a lot it seems. I mean, and today was another defensive dominant day, but I'm not too worried about that. I just really think that our defense is going to be a lot better than what people think. Armando Salguero, right on cue, Xavien Howard with third interception of the day. Omar Kelly, Xavien Howard with third interception of Ryan Tannehill on pass intended for Kenny Stills. He's on fire. Adam Beasley, Xavien Howard intercepts Ryan Tannehill for third time. Adam Beasley, Xavien Howard has been playing at a Pro Bowl level all week. Really impressive coverage and ball skills. Barry Jackson, Howard with third interception of Tannehill today. Wow. Omar Kelly, Jordan Phillips pressures Ryan Tannehill and makes him scramble out of the pocket. Chris Perkins, pass protection seems improved today, which seems insignificant when quarterback has 3 interceptions, but pass protection is decent. Omar Kelly, Andre Branch with a sack of Ryan Tannehill. Chris Perkins, Lippett, nice play to bat away Osweiler pass intended for Wilson in end zone. Decent throw, better defense. Omar Kelly, Tony Lippett with good press coverage on Albert Wilson during this end-of-game drill. Chris Perkins starting to think cornerback Tavez Calhoun getting his shot today. Been with second team for numerous snaps and has interception. Kid might be making a move. Chris Perkins, linebacker Jerome Baker would have lit up Osweiler on that play. We're talking broken ribs. Yikes. There's a lot of good coming out of camp, man. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff, so we'll just have to wait. Next week, guys, next week is our first preseason game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's where we're going to start really getting our first sights, eyeballs on players and see how they're actually performing and stuff and how they perform in real games. Omar Kelly, Jerome Baker with a blitz forces Brock Osweiler to make a bad end zone throw on the final play of the game. Joe Shad, Xavien Howard has 3 interceptions at Miami Dolphins practice today. He appears to me to be a legit number 1 corner for 2018. Armando Salguero, Ryan Tannehill with 5 interceptions in his last 3 practices now leads the Dolphins in interceptions so far this camp. Chris Perkins, another false start, offense struggling in many aspects today, but I repeat, pass protection despite Baker's previous play has been decent. Okay, and aside from a sack just now on fails. Omar Kelly, very spirited practice today that featured tackling, plenty of hard hits, and session dominated by Xavien Howard, who has been locked down all training camp. Omar Kelly, top performer of Dolphins practice. 7, 1, Xavien Howard, 3 interception day, all on Tannehill. 2, Kenyon Drake, big run early. 3, Jordan Phillips, abused backup O-lineman. Dolphins Twitter, this is Armando Salguero. Dolphins Twitter, Ryan Tannehill's training camp interceptions don't matter. Xavien Howard's training camp interceptions are awesome. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, dude, it is what it is. I mean, you have good days, you have bad days. He's testing Howard's coverage, and Howard's fucking doing his job, man. Chris Perkins, actor Andy Garcia was at practice today. Think GM Chris Greer spent lots of time with him. Adam Beasley, Rob Ryan is here at Dolphins camp today. Omar Kelly, former NFL coach Rob Ryan is here at Dolphins camp wearing a Dolphins shirt. Adam Beasley, Andy Garcia is there. Rob Ryan there by Jason Leazar. Armando Salguero posted a picture on Twitter of Adam Gase talking to Andy Garcia. Jason Leazar, I shook hands with Dolphins D-line coach Chris Kosurik today, and now my fingers are in the wrong order. There's no off switch on that guy. That's funny. He's super aggressive, but that's part of the thing, man, is he's making that D-line nasty. He's making the D-line super nasty. Omar Kelly, Darren Rizzi said Albert Wilson will get some punt return reps in the exhibition season because they want to see him get experience. He said Danny Amendola won't because we know what he can do. What else do we got? Let's see. Okay, this is an article from the Phinsider by Kevin Nogle. Will the Dolphins' 3-headed backfield monster dominate 2018? During the last 4 games of the 2017 season, no running back did more than the Dolphins' running back Kenyon Drake. Drake finished the season with 133 carries for 644 yards and 3 touchdowns. Furthermore, he solidified himself as the Dolphins starter moving forward. Everyone is excited to see what Drake can do in year 3 under Adam Gase. His rare skill set that includes one-cut breakaway speed coupled with his ability in the passing game makes him a one-of-a-kind talent. but during the offseason, things became a bit more unclear. The addition of free agent running back Frank Gore complicated things. After all, the 13-year veteran has had quite the NFL career, accumulating 14,026 yards and 77 touchdowns on 3,226 carries. Only 4 times in his professional career did he fail to surpass the 1,000-yard mark. Frank Gore is the truth. If Frank Gore wasn't enough, the Dolphins drafted Arizona State running back Kalen Ballage in the 4th round, 131st overall in the 2018 draft. Ballage, like Drake, can be a factor in the run game as well as the pass. In fact, Ballage once scored 8 touchdowns in a single game, a feat that is rarely done at any level of competitive sports. So how will Adam Gase and the Dolphins coaching staff split touches among the 3 talented running backs? This is how I see things breaking down, although it could fluctuate one way or the other. So he put up a little diagram, a pie graph. Kenyon Drake, he thinks, will get 65%, 20% to Gore, 15% to Ballage. I think it'll probably be a little more Gore than that, but that's probably close to accurate. It is anyone's guess as to how things may play out, but there is no denying that Kenyon Drake is the feature back until further notice. I also believe Frank Gore has done enough throughout his NFL career as well as in training camp that he will see his fair share of carries. The X factor remains Kalen Ballage, who will almost certainly earn carries as the season progresses. It might be hard for the team to keep all 3 running backs happy, but the more they share the workload, the better off this team will be in the long run. Let's just hope the offensive line can be a difference maker. After all, we all know Miami has the talent to do big things on the ground in 2018. Yeah. We'll see, man. We'll see. We shall see. I mean, I have big hopes for them. I think they're going to do great things. I think that was pretty accurate. I think Drake's definitely going to get the vast majority, certainly the majority of the carries. Gore's going to have his fair share, and then I think Ballage, Kalen will get his as the year goes on. Today is Laramie Tunsil and Jordan Lucas's birthdays. Okay, here's a Palm Beach Post article from Joe Shedd. Miami Dolphins Xavien Howard emerging as dominant cornerback force. Xavien Howard intercepted Ryan Tannehill 3 times in Thursday's Miami Dolphins training camp practice. If that sounds like a dominant performance, it was that and more. Man, I can't wait to get in there and talk some trash, Howard said after his virtuoso performance. Pay that man, Dolphins offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil said as he walked by Howard surrounded by media. Pay that man right now. It's too early for that, Howard replied. But it's not too early to say the Dolphins may have actually found their number 1 shutdown, lockdown, press man coverage corner. Having the confidence in yourself, Howard said of his 3rd-year jump, knowing you're out there on an island by yourself, knowing you've got to think your best every day. Howard is Miami's best corner and a legitimate top starting corner in the NFL. It's clear. After a slow start to last season, he got better and better and better. He finished well, but it's last season, defensive back coach Tony Oden said. The only thing I can think about is how hard he's working and how he's been accountable. He gets extra work after practice. He's a good player, but we don't strive to be good. We strive to be great, so there is still a ways to go. Howard has improved his consistency. Howard has smothered Devontae Parker through most of camp. Howard wants to follow the opposing team's top receiver around all game this season. I love to do that, Howard said. When I first got here, I told Coach, man, I'm going to be following the number 1 receiver around. He was like, we're going to see about that. It's about me seeing what I can do and building confidence and working on my technique and trying to get better. Howard is more well-rounded. He's physical. He's always been able to run and tackle, but now he seems much better in downfield coverage. I have to make the safeties and my defensive coordinator depend on me, Howard said. So is this an ideal time to trash talk Tannehill? A little bit, Howard said. I talk trash to him, but it doesn't really faze him. That's good. That's good, man. I'm super excited about that shit. X is going to be nasty. I'm going to have to get his jersey at some point. Cornerback Cordray Tankersley has been working on his transition from backpedal to turn and run, Miami Dolphins coaches say. Okay, that's good. Let's see, is there anything else relevant here? Quick from Omar Kelly, we've now had 3 straight practices the Dolphins defense has dominated, but in fairness to the offense, that unit is missing 2 starting tight ends, and Josh Sitton and Jawan James have each been held out of team periods for 2 or more days. Okay, another Palm Beach Post article from Joe Shad yet again. Miami Dolphins, how high-octane D-line coach Chris Kochurik is pushing mercurial D-tackle Jordan Phillips. Miami Dolphins defensive line coach Chris Kochurik cares so much about each and every snap the players in his room play. I have a passion for D-line play, Kochurik said Thursday. I was a D lineman. I've always put my hand in the ground, and I've got a passion for coaching those guys and getting the most out of those guys from a physicality standpoint, from an effort standpoint, from a mentality standpoint. In my mind, there's nothing more beautiful to see than a D-line all come together and working as one. Kochurik has been charged with getting the most out of a high pedigree group that has underachieved in recent years. Specifically, Kochurik is trying to find a way to maximize Jordan Phillips' talents on each and every snap. Kochurik may seem like a wild man at practice, eyes buggy and constantly screaming, but there are methods to his madness. He knows how to push buttons, and he knows the importance of developing trust with a player like Phillips, who has been labeled a disappointment. Just be consistent, Kochurik said. Me show up, be consistent with him. Him show up and be consistent with himself, and let's just stack one day on top of the other. Just stack one block each day, and we'll see what the end result is going to be. Phillips was utterly dominant 3 times on Thursday. At one point, he dropped a running back in the backfield and pounded his chest in celebration. It's an old story, but true. If Phillips showed his talents at a higher frequency, he might be a Pro Bowl talent. It's on Kochurik in his first year with Miami to coax the best from Phillips. And Phillips knows what's up. He knows there are reasons he doesn't have a Dolphins contract extension yet and is playing out his contract year. I just have a lot of doubters the whole time I've been here, Phillips recently told the Palm Beach Post. People don't understand it's a process, and I'm finally where I need to be, so it's time to show up. In the spring, Phillips complimented Kochurik, who has been seen in the summer egging Phillips on between practice reps. Chris is a great guy, Phillips said before training camp. He brings a lot of energy. He's fired up all the time. He's a good motivator. He gets into you when you need to get into. He's definitely going to bring a culture change to our D-line. Dolphins defensive coordinator Matt Burke is an advocate of Kochurik's. The two had worked together in Detroit before. Chris is an energy bringer and an energy giver, Burke said. I think he's a very demanding coach, but the players respond to it. They see that he cares. They see he's passionate about what he does. Phillips appears in excellent shape. A few teammates have said he's having a productive and effective camp. Kochurik and Phillips are an interesting duo to watch this season. Can Kochurik help him come closer to his potential? Phillips is doing well, Kochurik said. He's showing up with a great attitude and practicing hard. Consistency is starting to come. He's done well. He had a really good day today. He was disruptive in the backfield, especially in some of our short yardage situations. You really saw him show up. I'm pleased with Jordan. Good, man. And he needs to. I hope he does get a contract. I hope he does start really, breaking out his potential and everything and showing it consistently. And I hope he does get a contract extension because, he's an up-and-coming, ascending player of ours. And I would like, we drafted him, obviously, and I would like him to stay around. Okay, so let's see. We're getting close to the end here. Checking Dolphins.com real quick. Looks like they probably got a couple things for us. Okay, let's see. Camp Insider from Alan Pupar. Howard shines in 16 more observations. The Dolphins practiced in full pads Thursday and did some live tackling. Professional wrestler The Big Show, Paul White, and actor Andy Garcia were guests at practice. That's interesting. They bring in all kinds of dudes, man. It's crazy. Not just fucking former coaches and players, but actors and fucking wrestlers, all kinds of people. It's cool, man. That must be really fun. Tight end Marquise Gray joined the list of players sitting out practice. Wide receiver Isaiah Ford's shoulder again sat out practice after wearing a red non-contact jersey the past couple of practices, and they joined offensive lineman Jake Brendel calf and tight end AJ Derby foot on the sideline. Tackle Jawan James was held out of team drills for a second consecutive day. Head coach Adam Gase said Wednesday that James was dealing with a muscle strain. Cornerback Xavien Howard was the star of practice, coming up with 3 interceptions in team drills, including one where he tipped a deep pass intended for Devontae Parker and caught the deflection while falling to the ground. He also had one in an end-of-game situation. Wide receiver Leonte Carroo made a spectacular one-handed grab in a passing drill. Jakeem Grant, Danny Amendola, Albert Wilson, and Kenyon Drake dropped back to field punts. Linebacker Chase Allen lined up with the first-team defense alongside Kiko Alonso and Raekwon McMillan. Torrey McTyer was the cornerback opposite Xavien Howard with the first-team defense. The offensive line created a big hole for running back Kenyon Drake in a team drill. Linebacker Terrence Garvin made a nice backside tackle on a running play by Sonoris Perry. Quarterback Bryce Petty completed a 40-yard touchdown pass to rookie running back Kalen Ballage, who got open behind the defense on a wheel route. Rookie free agent Greg Joseph did the kicking Thursday and was 6 for 8 on field goal attempts with a long of 56. Defensive tackle Jordan Phillips pushed through the line of scrimmage to drop Perry for a loss on back-to-back running plays. The Dolphins did a team drill with the offense started inside its 5-yard line. Cornerback Tony Lippett had a leaping deflection in the end zone in an end-of-game drill. Rookie tight end Mike Gesicki did a nice job of getting both feet inbounds on a team drill pass. Rookie defensive end Claudie Mathau had a sack in an end-of-game drill. Okay, let's see. And AC in the AM 2016 draft could prove to be special from Andy Cohen. They were the Dolphins' first 3 selections in 2016 draft, and now, in many ways, they are still bound together. The prospects for this team so heavily relying their ability to reach another level in their promising careers. Think about it. Tackle Laramie Tunsil was taken in the first round, cornerback Xavien Howard in the second round, and running back Kenyon Drake in the third. Can you think of a trio of young players any more important to this team at this precise moment? All are expected to start. All have star potential. Over their first 2 seasons, they have each shown us at different times the intriguing aspect of their upside. They have teased us with some memorable performances, but now the challenge is more imposing. Now they are counted upon to be difference makers, not just here and there. Every Sunday, it is clearly their time, just as it is with so many other young players on this roster. We share something special from the 2016 draft, said Tunsil. We are a brotherhood. We look out for each other. They are still young in age, but each now has enough experience to justify higher expectations. And Tunsil, we expect a dominating left tackle, something we didn't see enough of a season ago. And Howard, we expect a shutdown cornerback after injury slowed his progress until a few breakout performances late last season. And Drake, we expect electricity with the ball in his hands, a continuation of the final 5 games of the 2017 season when he gained more yards than any running back in the league. Indeed, if the Dolphins are going to rebound from a disappointing 2017 season, if they're truly going to be one of the surprise teams in this league, it is imperative that we reach a positive conclusion on the 2016 draft. And this is the year it undoubtedly needs to happen. You've got to also include wide receivers Leonte Carroo, 3rd round, and Jakeem Grant, 5th round, in any evaluation of the 2016 draft. Carroo is finally healthy and having a solid camp, while Grant was always a big play waiting to happen. Still, it is those first 3 selections that will undoubtedly define the success of this draft. As training camp begins its second full week, all 3 players were trending up. Let's take a closer look. Laramie Tunsil. After playing so well at left guard in his rookie season, Tunsil was moved last season to left tackle where he played in college. He'll be the first to tell you that he struggled, that the difference going up against some of the best outside pass rushers in the league was a transition he wasn't quite ready for. But he insists he's not going to make that mistake again. Tunsil showed up for off-season workouts with a different level of commitment, a different mindset. He had that look in his eye, said offensive line coach Jeremiah Washburn. It was something that he found from within. The vision for Tunsil when he was taken in the first round out of Mississippi was a player who could anchor this line for the next decade or so. A prototype left tackle with a nasty attitude and a relentless drive. My belief is that we'll see that player this season. I want to be great, Tunsil says. Going to keep working until I get there. Xavien Howard. We saw late last season what this gifted cornerback out of Baylor is capable of doing as he intercepted 2 passes against both Denver and New England in back-to-back games. And in case you've forgotten, there was a guy named Tom Brady quarterbacking the Patriots. But that was only 2 games. Now Howard wants to sustain. Now he wants to be that same player game in and game out. I want to bring my A game all the time, he says. That's how I'm approaching this season. He embraces the role as the team's lockdown corner and relishes the thought the thought of going against the opponent's top receiver. He is physical when he needs to be and patient when he has to be. Mostly, though, he is a top-tier athlete with exceptional speed. This is a season he expects it all to come together, and based on what we've seen on the practice field, especially how he has defended Devontae Parker, he sure seems headed in that direction. Kenyon Drake, is there another level this third-year running back can reach? Those are the types of questions that will serve as the backdrop for this season. We saw plenty from Drake a season ago, especially in those final 5 games when his 444 rushing yards were tops in the league, but that was a small sample size. What Drake must do now is produce over 16 games and show that he is durable enough to touch the ball about 20 times a game. The addition of Frank Gore figures to help Drake both on and off the field. I mean, what better tutor can a young back have than someone like Gore? What we've seen so far from Drake in training camp is all thumbs up. It is clear his confidence is higher and he relishes his role in this offense, a role where he could produce equally as a runner and receiver. He's broken some nice runs in just about every practice this summer, his speed always the common denominator. I've got a lot I want to accomplish, Drake says. Yep, that 2016 draft could turn out to be a memorable one for the right reasons. Yeah, I hope so. Some good stuff there, and we'll definitely have to wait and see. At the end of this video, I'm going to have some more interviews and stuff for you from players and coaches, so definitely look out for that, and I hope you guys have enjoyed that. Please let me know. If you guys have any suggestions or comments, please definitely leave them. And if you like this video, please subscribe, share it with your friends, hit the like button, let people know, share it around. I'm definitely trying to grow this channel, and I am, of course, up for any suggestions or ideas that you guys have. So enjoy the interviews, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Fins up.
How would you assess the kicking situation right now between Joseph and Sanders?
A work in progress, as always. I mean, you're in these early part of camp still. We got a long way to go, over a month to go. So it's, especially with 2 rookies, it's not like you have a rookie and a veteran guy with 2 rookies. It's a process. And, I think they're both progressing. We're obviously working on some things. I think if you've been out here every day, you've seen those guys flash and show their ability. So it's just, like I said, like work in progress, and I think they're both progressing pretty well.
When you say work in progress, I mean,
yeah.
they've got a lot of work to do?
No.
Okay.
Nope. No, not at all. I think with any rookie at any position, whether it's quarterback, O-line, kicker, defensive back, it doesn't matter. All those guys are work in progress. There's not one guy in here that comes in ready-made to play in the NFL. That kicker's included. And, it's a different game, obviously, and I think those guys have both their progression since the spring, I think, has been pretty good. And you see some days are better than others, as kickers, rookie kickers are going to do. But I really like where they are. Obviously we have 4 preseason games to play. We got a lot of camp to go. So again, that's not what I meant by that. I think that I'm happy with where they both are right now. Again, you guys have been out here every day. You've seen the ability of those guys. You've seen them can both make kicks. Now we just got to do it on a consistent basis and bring it to the games.
Have you narrowed it down at punt returner at all? Down to a couple.
Well,
that's
always a pool that we're trying to expand. Really, I'm never trying to narrow that pool down. It's guys that we're always trying to look at. A bunch of guys there. I mean, obviously we have Jakeem and Danny Amendola, who both have a lot of experience in games. And then after them, you get some guys like Albert Wilson that's done it. You got some guys like Drew Morgan, and we're trying to break in a couple of new guys. Drake's a guy we've worked there. So we're trying to expand it, not narrow it down. Never can have enough guys, in my opinion, that can do that job.
Is Danny a guy that you feel really good about in those kind of tighter situations where there's a little more crowded?
Yeah, I feel good about Danny in all situations. He's got a lot of experience, obviously not only coaching against him, but just watching him out here. He's always a guy I've respected before he got here, and I probably got more respect for him now that he's here. Just watching his work ethic, his football IQ is really high. Makes really good decisions back there, and that's kind of what he showed when we played against him, and so it's not a surprise. So I'm comfortable with him in any part of the field.
Oh, could you do, like in the past, you've done situational, you put people in situations. Could you possibly do that again?
Oh, yeah, it's always on the table, no doubt. I mean, obviously Jakeem, has also been a guy that's, year by year gotten better and better and better. And so I'm much more comfortable with him than we were 2 years ago in a situational. But again, that's all going to be determined by roster, game day. But that's always on the table, and we're going to try to get as many guys work as we can. I mean, Danny Amendola is a guy that doesn't need to take a whole lot of preseason punt return reps. We kind of know where he's at. But everybody else that's out there, we're going to try to get as many reps as we can. But that's always on the table for sure, the situational thing, you know.
Have you had like a new eye-catching guy on special teams? I mean, we know what Walt does, but is there a guy you would tell us, keep an eye, you're going to really notice this guy on special teams?
I mean, all the guys that have been here kind of have a pretty good idea what they're bringing to the table. I'm obviously trying to evaluate all the new players, you know, not only the rookies, but the guys that haven't been here. You know, just learning our system, you know, doing what we do. But, you know, a couple of the rookies have flashed, you know, and again, they can flash out here, but once we get into those preseason games, you know, for the rookies more than anybody, you know, on special teams, those preseason games are really big. And we're going to really evaluate that stuff and see who can bring it to the table. You know, you guys see we're out here every day doing some live work. And so, you know, I know like a guy like Baker flashed today, Balaj has flashed. You know, a bunch of those guys have looked good at times. Now it's a matter of bringing it, you know. So we try to put those guys up in some matchups in practice against some of our better players. You know, some of the guys that have been here, Walt, Bobby, Mike Hull, you know, some of the veterans, Norris Perry, some of the guys that have been around. And those guys so far have held their own. But now let's see it on. Let's see it next Thursday. You know, let's see it a week from today. So,
Riz, I apologize if you've already been asked this, but what percentage or how much of the field goal competition comes into what goes on out here when you guys are kicking like field goals?
Well, I mean, certainly every rep's important, but you know, there's also things we're working on. You know, with both kickers, very small things that we're kind of trying to work on. They also have different operations at times. Sometimes it's John Denny snapping. Sometimes it's Lucas Gravel snapping. Sometimes the operation falls into it. So every miss is not necessarily the kicker's fault at times. You know, so again, am I living and dying by every kick out here? No, I'm looking for progress, as we were talking about before. I'm looking for those guys getting out here and getting better every day. I like where both of them are. I want to see them translate what they've done in practice, show the leg, show the consistency, show the ability. I want to see them translate that onto game day and onto the field, you know, in live action in the stadium. But, you know, I'm really like where both guys are. I've said this before to you guys. I really like their approach. They both have really good demeanor. Their work ethic's really good. I think you've seen the ability. So I'm really happy with both guys. And it's a little bit odd to have two rookies. A lot of times you have a rookie, maybe and a veteran. So this is a little bit of a unique situation to have two rookies here in camp. But both guys have really impressed me so far with some things. And, you know, they haven't been perfect, as you guys know. But I think right now they're doing very well. And I kind of like where they are.
Chase Allen out there a couple of times at outside linebacker, a couple of times with the starters. What are you liking about him, and what enables him to play middle and outside?
You know, Chase came in last year and proved to us that, you know, he was worthy of giving a look. He, you know, played some spot duty for us last year outside as well as inside. He's done a good job in the offseason of, you know, preparing himself. And, you know, we just want to keep the competition going. We don't want anybody to get comfortable. So, you know, we put him back outside to make sure he and Stephon got real competition out there. But meanwhile, make sure he gets enough reps inside.
As far as Steph, he's a guy that we haven't talked about a whole lot. How has his training camp been going?
It's going well. It's going well. You know, he came in later in our system last year, and we weren't able to use him fully like we were kind of expecting. We used him in some you know, third down situations, but now he's in there with the first group on first and second down. He's doing a good job for us, and you know, really kind of learning the system and owning the information, and he's coming along. You know, we just want to always keep our options open and make sure that we got the competition going.
Coach, Jerome Baker so far, impressions?
Really good athlete, runs around really well. His brain has been good. He just got to learn how to be a pro and just keep it going every single day. You know, he flashes a lot of good stuff there, a lot of stuff to work with. He got to just mature as a player and keep it going.
Has it been mental mistakes with him?
No, not so much mental. A lot of it's physical. A lot of it's not understanding kind of how we do things and what we do. So, you know, it's time on task. He needs more time on task, a million reps, and he'll get it.
I know we're not going to know this till preseason games, at least a full picture with Jerome's ability against the run. But do you have a feel for it yet? How good he would be against the run?
I know he will trigger when we ask him to trigger. So far so good. You know, we got to go live bullets. You know, a couple of these practices have done wonders for him, but you know, we got to go live bullets, and it's got to be consistent.
One thing we know on Raekwon, obviously, poised, polished, prepares. As far as on-field skills, what have you seen this camp after not seeing him after early August last year?
Well, to coin a phrase, he is who we thought he was. He's doing all the things we suspected. You know, his legs have come around. You know, his brain has always been good, and he's just, you know, consistently getting better. You know, obviously he didn't get a lot of reps last year. He transitioned to the first group later on in preseason last year, and we were looking forward to seeing him in that first preseason game. Didn't work out that way, but so far so good. He's got growing pains. He's a redshirt rookie, I'll say, but he's got growing pains. But ultimately, we like what we see.
When something like that happens, like you said, it's almost like taking a redshirt year in college.
Mm-hmm.
How much can that benefit a player? Look at the silver lining, and how much can it benefit a player?
Well, it teaches you. It teaches you how to be a pro. Actually, you know how to go about your routine. What do you got to do to get yourself better as far as physically and whatnot. He stayed around. He learned the system. He really got into the playbook. He studied all the games, all the cut-ups, all those things. So, that part of it allowed him to kind of learn the system from a relaxed standpoint, and so that really helped him that way.
And when that happens, can you really tell a difference the second year on the field, how it translates?
Absolutely. Some of the things he was doing last year and making mistakes on, this year he's not making as many mistakes. So, I think that helped him a lot.
I'm really just happy with the way they're working, and really stressed in terms of getting to the ball and everybody chasing and putting that high level of effort on tape. So that's really been the starting point for what we're trying to do. So that's been good, and we'll go from there. Clean up the mistakes as they keep coming. But I've been happy with the work ethic and the effort we've seen so far.
We saw the picks today from X, but yeah, we caught them.
Yeah.
But it seems like the entire week he's got it. I mean, is he
got it?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has it quite yet. Obviously, he's made some plays, which we're happy for. Again, another sort of point of emphasis for us is taking the ball away, and he's been getting his hands on balls, and I think for us with X, it's just continuing that high level play and keeping the consistency. You know what I mean? He can't kind of get lazy with his techniques or get bored, and he hasn't been. We've been really pressing him to stay competitive and play and play. A lot of times with X, sometimes it's when he's on the backside of things and he's not getting action, and he kind of gets a little bored with what he's doing. So we're trying to stress the consistency of playing and play out, no matter where the ball's coming to you or not. That you got to play your techniques right, and he just happens to, when the ball's been thrown his way, he's been in good position to make some plays, which obviously will be a good boost for our defense if that continues.
I'm sorry to cut
That's
you off.
okay.
Is consistency the big thing you've seen him take a step forward with this?
Yeah, probably. Honestly, I would literally say probably his worst day of camp was the first day. And he came to me actually and was like, man, that wasn't good for me. I'll be better. And kind of since then, he's really sort of tried to, like I said, just come in day out and keep that level of performance. So, that's something that just really with everybody on defense, everybody else will be fun. With everybody on defense, that's something that we're trying to stress is like it's not good enough to do it one play or one series or one game. That it's got to be every day in, day out that we're performing at the level of expectation that we hold. So the longer that he puts those type of days together, the better off we'll be.
What are you looking for that cornerback opposite?
The same. Honestly, just. I think all that group of guys that were working on the other side across from X have had their days and have had their not so good days. So we're rolling those groups and we're trying to see what the best combination of guys are too. Sometimes guys working together and communicating together, but really it just hasn't been. There's been to me a little bit of lack of consistency. That one guy will make a good play one day and then doesn't have a good day, and then we put another guy in there and it's sort of the same thing. So especially at that position, it's hard to play. With the up and down corner. You can't count on what's happening. So we're really just, again, very similar to X, like just stressing to whether it's Tank or Torrey or Lip or whoever, Bobby, all those guys that we're just trying to, we have to get that level of consistency, play in, play out, because then, as a coaching staff, you can know what you're working with. If you know what you're getting every play, then whatever our calls are going to be or, techniques that we're using, then we can kind of work with. But if you're not sure what you're going to get every play, then you kind of puts us in a bind. So if we get those guys, we want one of those guys to really step up and get to that level where it's every play is the same thing we're getting from them.
Do you play a different style with each of those corners?
Well, again, I think
Tank and Lipid.
I think it's just that every player, not just at the corner position, but they have their strengths and weaknesses. So there may be a technique that's better for Tank than for Lip, and they're different body types and Torrey and those guys. So I think, there's some times where we would play different techniques or teach a different way to get to the same spot than with different guys. So, but within each of those sort of techniques, they've got to be consistent, when what we're asking them to do. So We're just, again, really it's at every position, but obviously there we're just going to keep flipping groups and until a guy really takes hold of that spot for us.
What has Chris Kasurek brought to this project here?
You guys see him out there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear him, it's hard not to. Chris is an energy bringer, energy giver. I've worked with Chris for a long time, and we worked together in Detroit, and went through some tough seasons together, and kind of, I know, our little forged in the fire sort of thing. I mean, Chris and I were forged together. I mean, we had our offices right across the hall, and there's a really innate level of trust for myself with him and what he brings. I think he's a very demanding coach, but the players respond to it. You know what I mean? I mean, they see that he cares. They see he's passionate about what he does. He's passionate about D-line play and about what his beliefs are and the level of play he expects from them. And so he's demanding, but I think all the players respect the passion that he brings to the table. So it's been fun to have him out here. I gotta watch where I stand in the field sometimes with him, because I forget sometimes he's right here and I get an earful. But so just the energy and the passion and the level of expectations he puts in that room.
Is that a particularly good match for that position?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, people might get mad at me for saying this. I think the bigger you get, the more motivated you got to get from somebody externally.
Okay.
Maybe that's the best way to put it. So,
right.
So I think he knows, and it's hard on him. I mean, it's hard for him to come out day in and day out and do that. And I always used to say with Chris, people sometimes would see him at pro days or just at a local workout and in the draft stuff, and they think it's an act, and it's not. I mean, that's just how Chris is. That's who he is as a person. That's what he is when he steps in the building at 6:30 every morning, and so I think it's hard on a coach to be that way every day. So I think, but yeah, with that group, sometimes it takes a little bit extra yelling and pushing, and it's a good group to pair up with.
We're impatiently waiting to see the three safeties on the field together.
Are you patient?
No, I'm not really patient.
Okay.
But when do you have to practice that?
I don't have to do anything.
You don't have to, yeah?
Yeah. We're mixing the groups, so really what you're probably not seeing is, we can, we're repping guys at different spots, but maybe not all together, if that makes sense. So there may be times where there's only two safeties on the field, but one of them's playing a spot that they'd be playing when there are three safeties on the field, if we're going to do something like that, really. So what we're really trying to do right now, and it's tough with just splitting reps, that we're just trying to cross-train really all three of those guys at multiple spots. So when the time does come, they've gotten the work at whatever spot they're going to end up in. So we're just rolling groups. There's been a few snaps where we have them all out there together, and there's sometimes where we only have the two, but like I said, where maybe Minka's playing a different spot than he would be in another situation. So again, this time for us is just trying to find out how versatile all those guys are, and what the best alignment is for all three of them. So when the time does come, then we say, all right, let's do this together, that they've gotten the rep at those techniques or those spots or whatever it is. So I don't feel pressured right now to we got to get this package out of this group. We're really trying to work it within the confines of our base defense. It's only been 1 week, so we're really trying to just within our defense get those guys that work at those spots. So when we start trying to get a little bit more exotic and a little bit more kind of tricked up, that they've actually gotten the reps at those skill sets that we're going to ask them to do. So
how have you seen in terms of the chemistry between TJ and Rashad?
It's been great, man. I think TJ's been probably one of the pleasant surprises. I mean, Rashad has been very good. Obviously, he's got his hands on a lot of balls too, but I think TJ's been a pleasant surprise at camp. He's showed some range in the back end. He's made some plays down the field. And I think Coach Oden's done a really good job just with the whole group in terms of the communication. So that, to me, if you start with the communication aspect, then the camaraderie builds and the rapport builds between those two guys, because now they're always talking to each other, right? And so whether it's TJ and Rashad or Minka and TJ or whoever, Walt's been back there, all those guys that you start with them having to communicate and forcing that communication. Well, now it just starts becoming second nature. So, I think there's a level of respect from TJ and Rashad in terms of what they've accomplished in this league so far. So I think it's just been a pretty natural rapport for those guys. So it's been good. That whole group's been talking better and really just kind of fitting and gelling a little bit together.
Thanks.
Certainly.
Tackling technique.
Yeah.
Do players come in from college having that stone cold down, or is this something you've got to start over with normally?
No.
No, they
you want
don't.
to expand on that? Yeah, no, I mean, we don't have it stone cold down, you know what I mean? I mean, I think that's everything we do is organic, you know, and it's a work in progress. And, you know, I think the good thing about where the country is going in terms of tackling and what at every level the emphasis is on in terms of keeping the head out of it and keeping the eyes up. So they're hearing similar things at every level of football nowadays. So it's not that we have to break them down and just destroy bad habits, or at least what they've been being coached to do. So, but you know, it's again, it's organic. It's an ongoing process. So certainly every day that we have full pads on, we practice tackling and we talk about it. And you know, I know there's been a lot of sort of uproar about the new rules and stuff, and we have the officials here this week for the next few days, so we haven't had the sort of presentation yet on that. But from when we met with them in the spring, like I really don't think that it's going to be a change in technique of what we're telling our guys to do. I mean, we don't want guys leading with their heads. We don't want guys dropping their eyes down and leading that way. So I think it's just going to be extension of the technique that we try to teach. So I wouldn't say that I think college football is talking the same language we're talking. Again, really probably like anything else in college football. I mean, those guys are limited in the hours they have with players and how much time they can spend, and guys are coming out younger and younger. So, there's just maybe less of time on task with those sort of things that we just got to keep working with. So, and again, in practice the way it is, and how limited we are and what we can do and the time we have nowadays. So any time that we have plastic on, that we have shoulder pads on, we're working that, because we have to get those man hours in to get close to making sure we're getting what we want.
So today they were supposed to go to the ground.
Well, so when we have full pads on, Adam will call some live periods.
Okay.
So it'll be period to period that he'll say, hey, this one's live, or this one's thud, or just whatever it is. So every period he'll dictate the tempo. And again, it's a fine line for him. Obviously, you want to protect your own team from injuries and those sort of things, but again, the issue of trying to tackle, like live tackling without tackling, is sort of that fine balance. So whenever we have full pads, he'll try to sneak in one, maybe two periods a day that are actually full go, and the rest are just where we're thudding and trying to get a little fit and let them run. So, you're always walking that line, walking that balance, but in terms of the techniques and what we're trying to teach and keeping the head out of the game, I don't think that's really going to change.
The preseason kicks off tonight.
Does it?
Will you watch? I mean, yeah. Can you believe it? No, man.
I can't even. I don't know what day it is.
Thursday.
It's Thursday? I don't know. If I'm in my office doing something, maybe I'll put it on TV, but I got other things to worry about.
How would you evaluate the progress of Patrick so far in camp?
Same thing. I think we drafted the right guy. I mean, he's doing well. He is what we thought he was. He loves football. He asks for extra credit help. He does work. He's smart. He's a problem solver. And he fits in our room. And that's the key thing. So I'm pleased with his progress. At the end of the day, he's still a rookie. There's still a lot that he doesn't know. There's still a lot of situations that he's going to have to go through and go through those growing pains. But he's trending. He's right where he needs to be.
Tony, has Minka's presence, you think, elevated McDonald's play at all? Does TJ seem better, even more driven?
Not at all.
Okay.
TJ is TJ. If no one's behind him, that's kind of the cloth he's cut from. It doesn't matter. He's going to come out and compete hard every day. Now, it helps our room, all right, but I can say at all that it pushes TJ because he's grown.
He's played well this camp?
He's played very, very well. He's done his job. It's his second year in the system, so he's used to it. Last year he came in, he had kind of worked through some things. This is his second year, so he's learning our techniques. They're all learning new techniques that I'm asking him to do at the same time. He's working. I'm pleased with his progress. I'm happy.
How would you describe the depth at the safety position?
It's solid. It's solid. Pleased with it. I want to keep it there. We want to provide more depth. We have some other guys that are working there too, that are doing a good job. But I'm pleased. I'm pleased. Still got a ways to go. Not content. Not one bit at all. We still got work to do.
If Rashad, Minka, and TJ are 3 of the 10 best players on the defense, how can you get them all on the field?
It's to be determined. We'll find a way. That's our job. We got a lot of football left to play. Got some practice left. Got some games left. We'll work on that. And those guys, all 3 of those guys, earn the right to be on the field.
Out there, just keep going each day, getting better each day, I say, and that's what my biggest thing I'm trying to work consistently.
Is it increased film study? What is it?
Yeah, I say it's a little bit film study and just really just having the confidence in yourself, man. Knowing that you out there on the island by yourself and knowing you got to think you're the best every day.
Xavien, what's it like after you have a 3 interception day when you get into that locker room?
Oh man, I can't wait to get in there and talk some trash.
Do you want? Do you
pay that man right now?
That's the type of stuff you get, huh?
Yeah, it's too early for that though. But yeah, I need that.
You mentioned the island. You think Revis Island's the most famous. Do you want to be that kind of just? I got this side of the field. Don't worry.
Man, I got to make the safeties and my defensive coordinator depend on me knowing that I can shut my island down outside.
There were times last year where you followed the other team's best receiver around. Yeah. How much would you like to do that this year?
I'd love to do that, man. So when we first got here, I told Coach, I said, man, I'm going to be following number one receiver around. He's like, we're going to see about that. But, you know, me just doing what I can do and just really just being confident and really just working my technique and just trying to get better.
So who would you follow around on this team?
It don't even matter, man. We got some good receivers outside, so I try to get my work with both of the guys that's outside.
X, when y'all were in the bubble, you made that play. The offense had to do push-ups. Who were you defending? Was it Kenny or Devontae?
I think that was Devontae. Yeah, they got me today. I called out Kenny Stills at the end of one-on-one. He ended up catching the ball, but I ended up making him pay in the team.
You got to make sure people know.
Yeah, I still had to do my push-ups. That's what I was thinking about because Tannehill told me get down. He counted my push-ups out for me, so I told him I'm gonna make him pay.
Do you talk a little bit to Ryan?
A little bit, man. I just try to. I try to talk trash to him a lot, but he don't really faze him.
And how'd your summer camp go?
Summer camp been going good, man. I'm really just it's something I was just trying to watch film and just really. What you mean? You talking about the football camp?
Yeah.
It went great, man. That was my first camp, man. And I was just really out there, just really try to get back to my community and see what I can do out there. But I'm gonna keep it going each year.
But it was sold out.
Yeah, it was sold out. What I expected. I had 100. I had 100 people try to register, but it was more than that. The people that came.
Nice, because I remember you told me that.
Oh yeah, I was nervous. I was a little nervous, but it ended up going well, man. So next year I know I'm gonna have to have a lot of more shirts, a lot of more stuff because it was a lot of people that came out.
And who went with? Bobby went with you?
Yeah, Bobby McCain, Tony Lip, a couple guys from Baylor that I went to school with.
What would be a reason or two that you think the defensive backs overall this year are going to get more picks?
Man, we confident in ourselves, man. We just trusting the play calling and knowing and just taking care of our responsibility, man. I say that.